Welcome to City Talk, a weekly conversation produced by the City of Waco to inform you about city events and projects. Each week, we'll bring you interesting topics with city staff and community leaders to highlight how Waco is an exciting place to live and work.
Hello and welcome to City Talk. My name is Rhonda Sullivan and I'm with the City of Waco Economic Development Department. Today we are super excited to have Wendy Gragg, the Communications Director over at City Center Waco. So today we're going to learn a little bit about City Center Waco, our PID, and some really new programs that we have coming this summer. So Wendy, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm so excited to get to have some time with you.
Glad to be here.
Yes, if you would, I'd love for you to start out and kind of talk to all of our residents, our visitors about City Center Waco. What do you do and how do we work together?
Okay. So City Center Waco is actually a contractor with the city. So we are super tight partners. And we're probably like distant cousins, you could say, or something. Anyway, we at City Center Waco, one of the largest things that we do is we manage the public improvement district. And that is the very core of downtown. The property owners within that very center of downtown, they tax themselves extra. And with that extra assessment, it goes into the public improvement district budget. And that budget is used to do extra cleaning downtown and extra security and beautification projects. And also the marketing of downtown, the website and social media. And then other fun projects, which I'm sure we'll get to. But as the director of communications, I do the communications for City Center Waco, but largely I do all the official communications for downtown Waco.
I love it. And I get the honor to get on some of the committee calls and the Zooms because of COVID. I know we're going through a recovery process, but while we've had COVID happening, we've been doing Zooms. So I love to be able to hear all of the different things through your merchant committees and your design and delivery committees. And I feel like there's so much groundwork being laid. Tell me a little bit, I know that the PID is super important. Y'all are the administrator of the PID. Mm-hmm. So you've got a lot of responsibility to downtown owners, shop owners, the visitors that are coming in that want to see these things, the sidewalks. I know y'all are involved in so many different projects. Y'all just did a cool little paver update and cleaning up the sidewalks and getting things ready. How did this new big, huge initiative pop up about wayfinding?
So in office, amongst the staff, we had been saying, we need better signage for our public parking lots, because parking is something that we hear from our merchants a lot, that they need to be able to direct people to parking. They need more parking. They need better parking. And so it was on our radar, but then the city said, hey, PID, can you help us have better, help people find parking downtown? And we said yes. I mean, that's something that we wanted to do anyway. The city asks you, you say, yeah, absolutely, let's work on this. So we were thinking, some better signage for like the public parking garage at 4th and Franklin, or some of the public lots. And what began as maybe some fancier signs turned into something really, really innovative and groundbreaking for Waco in the form of a wayfinding and placemaking demonstration that we're going to tackle this summer.
I love it. Last night at City Council, I don't know if everyone's had a chance to watch, but you had a company called Civic Brand come in that did a presentation for City Council. So what did you think about how Lane Ferguson put together this placemaking plan?
So Civic Brand, actually Bradley Ford, city manager, suggested that we might work with Civic Brand, and so we reached out to them a while back and loved them right away. They're a place branding firm out of Dallas, and they speak the same language that we speak as a downtown organization. They understand what is important in a downtown and the things downtowns do. So anyway, they came in and they said, sure, they came and they looked around downtown Waco and they talked to us and they talked to city leaders, and they said, yeah, we can do some signs for you, but are you open to more? And over at City Center Waco, we're kind of scrappy and creative. And so we said, yes, what do you have? What can we do? So I am very thankful to Civic Brand for being the creative wonderkins that they are and walking through this process with us.
I love the fact that they did say we have such hot spots downtown, but a lot of times people don't necessarily understand how to get over into another block, possibly, to know that there's more restaurants and shopping down Austin Avenue, or that we even have the farmers market another block over. So I thought that it was really innovative, like you said, for Civic Brand to come in and say, maybe we do some kind of wayfinding trail. Maybe we say cool things this way, or keep heading this way because you're going to hit this, or head this way. I thought it was a really neat concept. I like the bright colors. I thought it was really striking. It is exciting. It's innovative. It can have a little bit of shock value to it, and I love it. I think it's really time for downtown to kind of have some of that splash. So when we looked at this and we have the PID, how do we expect to do any of the funding for this? Is it considered?
So it is being funded by the PID, and I should emphasize that that means it is coming from that budget that I referenced earlier, that comes from extra taxing of downtown property owners. So if you live out in the far reaches of Waco and you're like, why is all my tax money going to do this thing downtown? No, it's actually the PID that is funding this. So or downtown property owners are funding this project to do something really cool right where they are. But though it is happening downtown, we hope it will be something that not only will help everyone find their way around downtown and find parking, but also be just a little splash of delight and whimsy for the whole greater Waco area this summer as they come downtown.
So is Waco ready for the urban tactics that you guys are looking at doing for summer?
Absolutely. I mean, we're going to have to hold the hand of some people and walk them into it and convince them, but we have taken huge strides. I mean, you go a lot of places, I would say even internationally, and you say Waco and people know where that is, and they know where that is for great reasons, and they think they have good feelings about Waco, even if they haven't been. And we're there. It's time for Waco to step up and say, yeah, we're this good. We're exactly this good. So
I love it. The parking downtown, we've done studies in the past that said some of the studies came back saying we didn't have enough parking. Do you think after this whole wayfinding, the whole project, at the end of the day, do you think downtown Waco has enough parking?
Yeah, downtown Waco has enough parking. And I know some people would disagree with me about that because that is something that I've heard for the 8 years that I've been promoting downtown Waco. But Civic Brand pointed out downtown Waco doesn't really have a parking problem. It has a walking problem because people, they're used to parking right in front of the store they want to go into. And that's not always the case. That's not always the situation. So we have to encourage people to walk walk a couple blocks, go just a little bit further, but you might find something amazing along that little walk that you didn't even know was there. Now, with the projects that we're doing this summer, we are going to be taking away some of the on-street parking on 6th Street to create a pedestrian walkway. But we're opening up maybe as much as 3 times that amount of parking in new places to park. And the PID has been working with some private parking lots and talking to those owners about letting us open their lots up as free public parking for the summer. So yes, we're taking some parking spots offline, but opening what we think might be 3 times as much, and so we think it's all going to work out.
Oh, that is wonderful. We do have a city-owned parking garage that's downtown. Do you plan to utilize that in a more versatile way, or will we just continue to kind of have that downtown staple item.
Yeah, so it's a great asset for downtown, but I know plenty of people I have talked to who were born and raised in Waco who don't know that we have a city parking garage downtown that is free and public. And so we hope that sure that visitors will find it, but we hope that locals will understand that if they're coming down for a function or an event, or maybe they're just going to True Love, or, you know, they're going to eat at Clay Pot or something, we want them to understand that parking garage. We want them to know where it is, how to get into it, and that's theirs. Like your city has this for you. Please use it. You know,
It is a great asset.
Oh, it's so great.
And last night, I think Lane Ferguson with Civic Brand did show a slide that had a huge sign on the side of that parking garage, and it had some animated pieces, but it also said free parking. So it was almost so big that if you were coming down the street, you would be able to see that, and it would intrigue residents or visitors to kind of go around and pop into that parking garage. So I thought that was innovative on that presentation. I loved it. So if parking is not our issue, walkability is. When we look at the overall downtown, the creative and the innovation that we have in Civic Brand, how are we going to, I know that in the presentation last night with Civic Brand, there was a pedestrian walkway that included a street closure. How aggressive is that? And what do we plan on seeing in terms of closing an entire street in downtown Waco?
Well, I just want to be really specific. The pedestrian walkway won't close any street. The pedestrian walkway is on 6th Street. And that's not going to, so 6th Street won't be affected though, except for if you're planning to park on that side. You can't park there because it's going to be a pedestrian walkway, painted with signs. It's going to be great, leading people from Webster Avenue into Austin Avenue. But the street that will be closed, just a half a block, is 7th Street, and that will be a pedestrian plaza.
Oh.
And so that will be 7th Street between Austin Avenue and the alley that I think is to the south. The street will be closed in that space, and we are going to paint the street and string lights and have tables and chairs and have pop-up programs out there for 2 months, which is the length of this project. And it's activity, it's color, it's fun. So number one, it's for visitors and locals. Visitors who don't know an area tend to flock to the area where they see that activity and things happening and stuff. So that'll be another way to indicate to them that the rest of downtown is a place to be. But for locals, you know, they might say, oh, I live in Waco, I don't need to go downtown. I know, I've been downtown before, I know what's there. But do you? Do you really? Because, you know, there's constantly new shops opening up, new eateries, and there's going to be this plaza down there for 2 months. And we just really, you know, we're coming out of pandemic year, and it'll be a place to be outside and in community with one another, enjoying life and having fun. And, you know, Waco needs that. And more importantly, Waco deserves that. So
When I know our Creative Waco team put together a festival downtown just here recently called that Chalk Festival. Did it utilize that same type of pedestrian or the plaza? Was that kind of is that the same area?
Yes. So that's where the wall murals were for the Chalk and Walk.
Okay.
And that was fun to watch because we had already decided that we were going to do this if we got approval. Right. And so I came down both days of the Chalk and Walk and took a ton of pictures and just observed how people circulated through the area, how they interacted with the art that was there. And it was perfect. It was just like, this is it. Like, people love this space. If you give them something to look at, something to do, strangers were interacting with one another. Someone would say, oh, could you take a picture of my family with this art? And it's just what you want to see happening in your downtown.
I love that. With all the creative ideas that are popping up right now, it's a springboard for Waco to come out of that COVID-19 time frame. And so we're recovering. What are the thoughts from small businesses on a campaign that could be as aggressive as Summer in Downtown?
Sure. So our merchants, I always stress to them that we are here for them. We want them to be successful. If our merchants are successful, then they have no trouble paying their rent, and then our property owners are happy. So we want everything to be vibrant and thriving downtown. And the merchants that I have spoken with and the downtown stakeholders that I have spoken with are really excited once I explain to them what it's going to be, that it's not going to be something that is competing with their business, that it's really just an attraction to draw people downtown. And then once they're there, we hope that they go shop in our shops and eat in our eateries.
Love it. I think that we have so many tourists that are now starting to pop back into town. Mm-hmm. I really love the Wayfinding Trail. I think it will get people from the convention center down Austin a little bit over into Franklin. They'll get to enjoy the plaza as well. With that, how long do you think this program will last? Is this a long-term program, or how do we do this and do it effectively and streamline it for Waco?
Right. So we're calling this a demonstration. We're calling it a placemaking demonstration because demonstrations are temporary, and this project is temporary. So it is a 2-month project. And the things that we're doing, like on 6th Street and 7th Street, we're calling them interventions. And so during those 2 months, we're going to be collecting data and seeing, how does parking, are we getting people to the parking lots we need to get them to? Are we seeing them walk on these pedestrian walkways? Are we seeing people come to this 7th Street Pedestrian Plaza? And at the end of that 2 months, we'll look at our data and see, are any of these interventions, were any of them so successful that we should pursue some permanent form of that. And if the city decides, no, none of these are really, then that's fine. Then we had a really cool 2 months. But maybe some of them will be really amazing, and maybe the powers that be will say, we have to keep this. So.
Right, I love it. When you look at the downtown map and you look at some of our anchor, like the convention center, we have farmers market going on. We have the Magnolia, silos at Magnolia. All of these things. Will this program touch the boundaries of some of these anchor events and anchor places and facilities whenever we look at where we're going to lay out the wayfinding?
So it is not that broad. Okay. This is a huge project, but it also was limited by budget, So certainly, I know we've talked to Civic Brand, and they actually did a full audit of downtown and all the districts and everything. So if we had more money to put into it, it would touch every corner of downtown. This more is focused on pulling people from that silo district area that we know that visitors are already coming to, and pulling them in, toward Austin Avenue. And then once we get them there, we can send them, they can offshoot to, further down Austin to like Spice's temporary location and the great shops that are that way. The other day I was downtown looking at something, and some ladies were looking on their phones, and I said, can I help you? And they were like, yeah, we're just looking to see what's around, where should we go? And I was like, well, why don't you go over to Washington? That block right over there has Gather and Wildland on it, and I think you'll love it. And then I saw them leaving, and they had bags. And so I think that everyone has the chance to benefit from this, even though it doesn't touch every corner of downtown.
So with City Center having so many different pieces to this parking and wayfinding, do they think that we'll be able to, if we come out of summer, we're going to have talk to me about the marketing thoughts behind this? Will there be some promotion and some things to help residents know to come down and when it's going to be implemented? Are there any events wrapped around this type of rollout?
Right. We are also rolling a marketing campaign in with this. So the project we're calling Summer of Downtown. And it really came about, I have to be super honest, when we started talking about doing these interventions, I kept saying in the office, you guys, this is going to be the Summer of Downtown! and then it kind of stuck. So anyone who's not crazy about that, I apologize. It's totally my fault. So we'll be talking about it constantly. We hope our partners and other strong social media channels in Waco will be talking about the projects that are going on. But we're going to be doing cool stuff at the 7th Street Pedestrian Plaza all summer. So we'll constantly be saying, I hope to get a group in to do yoga one morning in the plaza. I hope to get, I don't want to give away all my ideas, but we've got a lot of ideas planned. But opening night is Friday, June 25th. And it's going to be low key, super chill. We're going to do it kind of early. We'll be sending out, all the details about it, but we're going to do it kind of early so that people can then go have dinner downtown or, do whatever they want, hear some music or something. But before then, on Wednesday the 23rd, and this is the first time I've said this publicly, we're going to have a group paint because we're going to be painting that street on 7th Street. And we need help because it's a big area. So we would love for the public to come join us. We have the design, we have people who are going to be guiding you on where to paint, but we need some elbow grease. We need some help.
Oh, I love that idea. I was wondering who was going to do the painting.
Yeah, not me. So someone else.
So we can have the citizens and all come out. I love it. With that being said, have y'all already done all the background work on the paint and the environmental part of this?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
And hats off to Civic Brand for this is what they do all the time with cities, so they know it really well. But yeah, they worked with City of Waco departments and Public Works and everything, and just yes, okay, what kind of paint do we need? What is friendly for the runoff? Yes,
wonderful.
It's been really
so we
good.
Don't have to worry about anything getting in our water supply. I love it. I think that the whole initiative is really innovative. It's really a cool deal for Waco. I hope the residents will come out and help paint because it is the plaza alone is going to be huge. We are excited about those events. So we will put those up at the end of our show. And again, it's June 25th is going to be the grand opening. And then we also have a citywide paint event that's going to be on the 23rd.
And I'll be pushing that out via the Downtown Waco social media channels probably today. So.
Excellent. And so we will send everyone that needs more information over to your website.
Great.
And if you will call your website one more time just to make sure that we have it.
Sure. The Downtown Waco website is downtownwacotx.com. And on Facebook, we're Downtown Waco. And on Instagram, we are Waco Downtown.
And is City Center Waco open now if somebody wanted to stop in and visit with you guys? Or have we not opened 100% at hybrid?
We are open, but we are a very small staff. And as you can imagine from this conversation, we are often boots on the ground, walking around downtown and doing things. So we don't always have someone in office. So it's best if you call and set a time that you want to, if somebody wants to come by and talk. That's much better.
Wonderful. So just to summarize everything that we talked about today, I know we're running short on time, but City Center is working again on this huge work. They're the PID administrator. They come in. We're doing our big summer in downtown branding and marketing for wayfinding and helping people find parking spots. We have some huge events that are going to be coming up in the very near future. Residents are going to be seeing some activity that's going to be happening exactly on the streets with the pedestrian parkways. There'll be barriers where we don't have any safety issues.
Right.
So that way families can come out, anybody can come out and walk, even on the spots that we have closed on the street. And then we'll start helping people get to the parking garage, possibly some of those private lots that you've spoke of. And so I can't wait to see how this all turns out.
Yeah, me too.
It's going to be really exciting, and I think everybody will be pleasantly surprised.
Yeah.
Right? So I appreciate all your time today. It's been my pleasure to get to visit with you. And if anybody has any questions, please run over to City Center Waco's website. Again, I'm Rhonda with the Economic Development Department. I'm easy to find at rhondas@wacotx.gov. And then Wendy Gragg, Communications Director of City Center Waco. Thank you so much and have a wonderful rest of your day.
We hope you enjoyed City Talk, a production of the City of Waco. Catch this program on local radio stations on Sunday mornings at 6:30 a.m. Find the podcast on your favorite podcast streaming service by searching City of Waco, or view it online at wccc.tv.